Guys, we've got a new company coming on board here with 8192 The Truth. It is a supplement and lifestyle branding company based here out of Canton, Ohio, where I live. And if you know me, and I know y'all do, you've heard me talk many times, you know my feelings on supplements. You know my disregard and disgust for most of the over-the-counter supplements that are peddled in your GNCs and anywhere else. However, Project Build Your Life Daily is a company that I can get behind, much like Onnit. Their products are clean, they are natural, and I love their mission. It ties in directly with what Joel and I have talked about since day one, being that you're either a day in or a day out. And their name says it all. It's Project Build Your Life Daily. I have been taking a few of the different products so that I could myself test them and tell you guys about. I've been taking their test booster, their fat cutter, just to see how it makes me feel, if it's one of those crackpot things that makes you jittery, or if it's a helpful, effective supplement. And I've been taking their pre-workout, which again, I've never been a big fan of, but if it's clean and it provides good, clean energy, then I can stand behind it, guys. And I will tell you, the Project Build Your Life Daily supplements have been everything that their labels say they are and more. I feel good. I feel energetic from morning till night. My workouts are better. I have a clean, focused energy. I don't get that high and then crash. You just get a clean, sustained energy throughout my workout, and when I'm done, it tapers off in a natural, smooth way, and I have no ill effects from it. So guys, I can't recommend them enough. We're gonna get a discount code from them real soon to pass along to you guys, but go check out their Instagram page, check out their website, comment on their posts, and tell them that you heard about them on the 8192 The Truth podcast, and you want that discount code soon because you want to start buying some products and improving your life. On Instagram, they are Project BYLD. It's Project Build Your Life Daily. And like Joel and I always say, you're either a day in or a day out, and that's what these guys are doing. So go support them, go comment, bombard them, tell them that you want the 8192 The Truth discount code now so we can start supporting their business and bringing their products to our listeners, guys. Check them out. I support them. It's good stuff. I believe in their mission. I wouldn't sell you guys on it and tell you about them if I didn't. Project Build Your Life Daily. Check them out.
I want the truth. You can't handle the truth.
The truth is inside of us. And it's wonderful when we have the courage to tell it.
And the truth shall set you free.
Welcome to 8192 The Truth with Brother Sin and the Godfather. Make sure you subscribe to the show on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, and TuneIn. New episodes drop every single week. Now here's your host, the Godfather, Joel D. Supernaw.
Kevin, Big Daddy, my partner, Kevin Senior, is back. And wife's already at the gym. Wife's already going back to the gym. What do you do?
He is a warrior.
What do you do with 4 kids under the age of 6? How do you even do that?
Not much of anything. Divide and conquer, man. Luckily, as much as I hate to say it, like Kindles and iPads are a lifesaver when you've got 4 small kids, because one can sit and watch a show, another can play a game, that kind of stuff. So it can be challenging.
I tell you what. So even though this is your 4th child, and she's a bit of a miracle child. And if you want me to stop this and start over, I will. But when you had initially told me that the two of you were having another kid, a few weeks later you came back and said, "No, man, something's wrong." And then a week after that, you're like, "Yeah, we're all good."
Yeah. So trying to remember the details. It flies by so quick, but yeah. So we got pregnant. Everything was going well, and then going for appointment, numbers had dropped off, the hormone stuff had fell off, kind of the sign of, it termed itself, the baby's lost, that kind of thing. And being that we have been through that 3 times before, 2 with very early term, and then 1, which would have been my first son, we actually lost about halfway through. We kind of knew the signs when it happened, and then when they couldn't find the heartbeat, that kind of thing, it was like, that sinking pit feeling, like, oh, here we go again. But they said, just watch it for a couple days. Next time we get you in, come back in, see if we need to do something or if it's going to pass itself, and then boom, go back in, and everything's fine.
And
and
fast forward of 8 months, and Miss Callie is here. She's beautiful.
Yeah.
She's healthy.
Beautiful, healthy. The biggest one of the 4 we've had. So she came out 8 pounds, 9 ounces, 22 inches. So the biggest of our 4. And she's been a delight up to this point.
Yeah.
Eats well. She sleeps well. She's quiet. It's been an absolute joy so far.
It's funny, man. You just every single baby that's ever been born in the world is it's just amazing thing that's ever happened in the world. I tell you, with Lad being so small, I mean, he was 3 and 3.5 or something. He was just little. And then I see little Callie, and she's 8 pounds, and I'm like, man, that's tiny too. And when everything is perception, she's such a big baby. She's 8 pounds. I mean, that's not a big. She's 8 pounds. That's not. I mean, we could throw her 30 yards. I mean, you were a shot putter. How far can you pitch her down the field 30 yards, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, so Brother Sin's back. I'm back. I've texted our new guy, and I tell you, it's really cool how Kyle transitions some of the music into this. I think he's doing a great job. I've texted him to come on the show later. Me and you, we've got a lot to talk about. Starting with me, I tell you what, got my phone blew up. I was in the sauna a couple days ago, and my phone blows up from 9 different people, and they're like, hey, Jack Spates at Southern Illinois is trying to get a hold of you. They're putting 2 more classes into the Hall of Fame. So I am a Hall of Famer again. It's my 2nd time going into the Hall of Fame at the University of Southern Illinois in Edwardsville. It's a great honor. So,
wow, congrats.
All right.
I know that.
Yeah, so now, what's this show called again? It's 8192 The Truth. Now let's
92 The Truth.
Now let's really, really, really talk about this Hall of Fame. So that they are, in fact, I am in fact invited to go and get inducted into a Hall of Fame. A Hall of Fame that I do not deserve to be in. The reason that is quite frankly, the year that's going in, I was redshirted, and I was probably ineligible. Maybe I shouldn't talk about this because maybe they'll strip me. But the fact is, this is 30 some odd years ago. We had some killers in the lineup. I was a damn good wrestler for a lot of years. I tell Lad, this Hall of Fame thing isn't for me because, to me, I'm embarrassed by it. I'm embarrassed by the fact that what should have been, what I should have been doing, what Lad in my situation would be doing, I would be in him to be getting the most out of him, and I didn't have that. It is my fault. I take all responsibility for it, but the life that I've lived, which is, man, it's been a roller coaster. It really has. And the funny thing, once I had a little stroke, once I had the big house and the big car and the golf club memberships and a man purse full of bullets, I lived a certain style of life. Well, then since then I've been up and down 3 or 4 different times, and my life's never really changed. Me and Lad usually do some pretty cool stuff throughout the year. But I look back on my life, and the biggest regret that I have is I did not give myself a fair chance to be as good as possible a wrestler as I was. I was damn good. I'm good right now. I walk right out of this studio and into any wrestling room in the world and will not embarrass myself. But the reality is I did not get the accomplishments that I wanted. So going into the Hall of Fame, into a Hall of Fame, it's embarrassing to me. You know, I mean, it's embarrassing to me. I akin it to the UFC Hall of Fame when somebody goes into the Hall of Fame because they were in a fight or they got knocked out, or I think they put the Tough One class into the Hall of Fame. And there's some guys there that were one and done. So, I go back and forth in my head, and I'm like, this is embarrassing. I belong in Wasted Talent Hall of Fame. I belong in Didn't Go to Class Hall of Fame. I belong in a lot of different Hall of Fames, but a Wrestling Hall of Fame, not feeling it. But talked to my good friend Matty Sprague this morning. He is my coffee partner, and Matty Sprague, who won 3 or 4 national junior national championships, was a Division I wrestler, competed all 4 years, very, very, very good, multiple time state champion. He tells me, listen, I'm like, how do I reconcile this? And he's like, well, the way you reconcile it is you put your work in for a number of years, for a long, long period of time. You put your work in. You were very, very good. You won a lot of matches, a lot of tournaments. You beat a lot of people. You were a great teammate. So you reconcile this as a culmination of those things. That's the yin and the yang coming back to you for giving the sport a certain amount of your life, and go ahead and take it. And that felt good. That I was going to take it anyway for my grandkids. I'd be the best wrestler in the world when I'm dead and gone. There's nobody cooler nobody's better than Dad. even if Dad was a deadbeat, People talk about their dad. I love my dad. My dad was awesome. My dad, he's the coolest guy in the world. Man, he wasn't a very good dad for a lot of years. Okay. He did some really bad things. But I love him and he's my dad, and you only ever have one, Poppy. So I'm going to go into the Hall of Fame. I'm gonna suit up. I'm gonna go in. And quite frankly, Sin, the only reason I'm doing it isn't for Ladd, okay? Because Ladd wants me to be way better than I was in anything. He's working out super, super hard, and so sometimes you know how when you're on a really intensive program, sometimes you can't sleep at night. Sometimes you just start spinning. So he's back to listening to the pod. So he listens to the Randy Couture pod. And then he goes back from there. So he's up to speed. Now he's asking me all these questions about this, that, and the other. He's like, oh, buddy, you 205-pound Poppy would have took out Forrest. And I was like, no, Ladd, no. That wasn't what I was saying. And, Ladd's trying to get me to put myself over. And I'm like, no. We would have went. I mean, it was a wrestling mat right there. We would have went. But no, I wouldn't have thought in a million years that I was going to beat the world champion at 205 pounds. So Ladd wants me to be way, way better than I was. And I don't pull any punches with Ladd. I tell him the way it is because I don't want him to go down the path that I went down. I don't want him to make himself better than he was. I want him to live a clean life. I want him to live an honorable life. But my grandkids, man, they can think I'm whoever I want. I'm a 2-time Hall of Famer. I'm the best wrestler in the world. I took down, I'm on the UFC Fight Pass. That makes me a UFC fighter, right?
That's right.
Yeah. So, Ladd can paint it any way he wants. I've got to live with the reality. I've got to live with the truth. And the truth is, I will be aw shucks embarrassed when I hope I get a jacket. Or maybe I just play it like about time I'm recognized. You know, just play. I just play it like that. I tell you, that's the Hall of Fame. The Godfather is going into the Hall of Fame.
Nice. No, let me ask you. I'm looking at the 86 team picture here. So what class is going in now?
So they put in 85, 86. That was the first one I was in. So 86, 87 is going in, and 88, 89, I believe, is going in.
So who was the best? This is the 86 teams on here. So who was the baddest man on this team in 86?
Well, see here, I don't.
There's a big brother right in the middle of the back that he just looked like an animal.
Well,
right in the middle, no shirt on. The only one with no shirt on.
Okay, I don't. Singlet. That might be Flukas. I tell you, it's hard to answer that question because the group, the 83, 84, 80, or no, going back to 81, 81, 82, 82, 83, 83, 84 were such killers. I mean, they were the Southern Illinois and Edwardsville the year before I got there placed third or fourth in the Division Ones. And this is back when if you won the national title, if you were top two in Division Twos or in Division Threes, you were going to the Division One tournament. So they took top three, and there were so many killers in that room. There were just so many killers. Booker Benford is a real close buddy of mine. He's my best man at my wedding, and he was a three-time. He's basically the freestyle version of Randy Couture. Randy Couture was a three-time Olympic alternate. Booker was a three-time Olympic alternate, and he was in the room every day. Ernie Badger was still in the room at that time. Tim Wright was the first four-time national champ at Division Twos, and he won it clean. He won it freshman, sophomore, junior, senior, and I believe he was the number one seed his senior year, and he missed weight at the Division Ones. This was after winning his fourth national title. So there was so many killers in there. I mean, guys like me who either weren't eligible or never made it. Man, they would come in there and get down. It was a buzzsaw of a room, and so I can't say who was the best. But after my freshman year, which I got, man, I didn't get a takedown for not from another freshman. I take down another freshman, but I didn't get a takedown from anybody that wasn't in my class. God, I want to say for 2 months. I mean, it was brutal. But after that, I stuck with it, and I did get really, really good. There was a time my second year where Mike Sheets came out from Oklahoma State, and Mike Sheets was multiple time national champ, multiple time. He never made the Olympics because the best guy in the world was at that weight. So I remember going 2 in, 1 out with him and Booker, an entire 2-week camp, and I couldn't tell you who was the. I did not get eaten by those guys at that time. So that's the biggest regret on my part is that I never. God, you know how easy it is to just get by in college. I mean, you've got to try to be ineligible. And man, I was so good at being ineligible that I mean nobody was better than me. And it's so sad too because I loved wrestling so much. I just couldn't get it going. So to answer your question, man, there was killers all over that room, and nice. I was one of them. I just don't have the hardware to go along with it. So I'll tell you a quick lad story, and you'll like this. And as a dad that's going to live right along with your kids, you're going to do the same thing that I've done with lad. You're going to be a part of their life. You're not going to watch their life unfold. Lad has been on a tear this summer. I've been training him. I've been training him up. He's been getting 2-a-days almost all summer. Well, he hit a growth spurt, and you can tell when your kids hit a growth spurt because they're just so tired. They're just all they want to do is sleep. So he's going to wrestling practice, and then he's crashing all day. So I'm like, well, we're going to finish this we're gonna finish this next 2 weeks out strong, lad. So it doesn't really matter. So yesterday, after the day before, he goes to wrestling practice. It's hard, and then I'm like, all right, lad, we're gonna go get another workout in today. You got to lift and a swim. And he's like, I might have a lunch date with a friend. And I'm like, all right, cool. You know, that isn't going to get you out of a workout. And then he advances it a little bit. He's like, well, there's music in the park later. I like to go to that. And I'm like, hey, listen, man, I know you're trying to get out of a workout. It's okay. I mean, it's you know, you can't get that. You can't get by me. We know how you get out of a workout. You do just that. If the guy on the other side of it has already done it a million times, you ain't going to get it by him. So I know lad's trying to get out of workout. I'm like, all right, listen, you know, you're having a great summer. You're killing it. Go ahead and take you already got one in. You got a red X. That's what his big workout board is. Every time he gets a workout in, it goes in red. And if he doesn't get a workout in that day, it's a big green X. So we just... He already Hay was in the barn. I like to get a little bit more out of him. But I said, okay, well, you got to work out twice tomorrow, no matter what. So tomorrow comes around, that's yesterday. And he goes to work out. I pick him back up. I'm like, all right, you got 2 hours, and then we're going to go get it in. I've got to go do this, that, and other, and, try to make an income. And so he wakes up. He's just beat. He's tired. He's grown. He's working. He's all the different things, and he's a teenager. So he's in a bad mood, and I accept it. I'm like, cool. Listen, I know how this works. You're going to be thanking me in about an hour and a half. It's going to make you feel so good. It's medicine. And he says, yeah, whatever, dude. You just keep dragging me. You just keep dragging me to workouts all summer long. Blah blah blah. He's being a little jerk. And I'm like, I'm just taking it. I'm like, listen, I understand you're in a bad mood. You're going to get in a better mood. I know how you feel. And then he's like, oh, you want me to be in a great mood? I'll just be in a great mood. And then he starts mocking me. I'm like, all right, well, I know what I'm going to do here. We're about 2.5, 3 miles from the house. I just pull over and I'm like, get out and run home. And where Lad's a gangster at is if Lad is told to do something. Now, I would have got out and walked home. I would have got out. I would have ran just long enough until that little black Lexus was out of sight. I would have peeked around the corner. I would have ran for about another minute just in case Poppy turned back around to check me out, and then I would have put the brakes on and walked home and call it a day. Well, Lad comes clean real quick. He's like, no, I'm good. So we go. He goes. He has a great workout. He feels great. He's like, thanks. Blah 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 blah. And then we start laughing about it. I was like, man, you almost got the booty boot. And I was like, no, you did get the booty boot. You just didn't accept it. And he goes, well, I thought about it. Yeah, he thought about it. He looked at that hill. He looked at that 2.5 miles. He said, no, I'd rather go do the grind at the gym in the air conditioning. We're up to speed. I asked you to go ahead and produce a show for me today since I did not have one. And it's slim pickings when there aren't any events coming up.
It is.
And we'll say UFC events because Professional Fight League had an event last night. Hometown guy Ricky Story won. Did Jake Shields win too? Do you know? Do you even know?
I did not. Not see anything on that one.
All right. So I missed the PFL last night. I know the guy that the local guy Rick Story, he won. He tapped this guy out. But the reality is, if there's not a UFC event right behind us, or if there's not a UFC right in front of us, and this is for everybody that does this. Chael and Ariel, they have an hour-long show. Chael has 2 podcasts. Chael has a what the hell's that? Beyond the Fight. I mean, he's got a ton of stuff to put out there, and there's just not a lot of stuff because we're all top feeders. We all just take the top of it, and I'm gonna bash the MMA media real quick. I think it was Jesse Holland. Jesse Holland is with MMA Mania, and I believe believe Jesse Holland is the same guy that used to come back hat in hand with a microphone way back in the day in the back of the dealership. And he's one of the old school reporters. I go ahead and give him a nod. Say, all right, you're a reporter. The reality is he's just a guy with a microphone that liked MMA. That's what most of these guys are. Jesse Holland with MMA Mania writes an article yesterday, everything that Colby Covington said. Colby said this, Colby said that, this, that, and other. That's fine, bro. But you're an actual reporter. So then if you're gonna let, I think this is the way it's supposed to work. You can tell me if I'm wrong. So Colby Covington comes out and says, you know, T Wood's not going to draw anything without somebody else being there. I would have drew this, that, and the other. If I'm wrong, didn't him and RDA draw flies? Yeah, they did like $150 or 200 or 200 grand. I mean that's lightweight money. So I think Jesse Holland should have came out and said, well, even though he said this is what this said. It's ridiculous when these reporters are such nut huggers. All they want to do is hug on a nut. Well, Jesse Holland's been hugging on nuts for 20 years. You would think he would toughen up. What's he scared? Scared of Colby Covington? Or these guys want to cater to these guys so they can get them on their show or some bullshit? I know that I reached out to you, and I apologize, Sin. You run 9 businesses. You got 15 kids. There was this restaurateur out in New York that got bullied by Ali Azababa Bubo, the dick manager. And the guy's a dick. I mean, maybe he wants to be a dick. Maybe that's his thing. But I think he's a dick just because that's how he portrays himself. So he's the manager of Frankie Edgar. Is he Khabib's manager too?
I don't think so. Not that I know of.
So anyway, so this guy's just a good guy. He's a supporter of mixed martial arts. He's a local guy there in New Jersey, and he gets all these messages from Ali, saying he's a scumbag, he's a prick, he's going to kill him, he's going to do this, he's going to do that. And this guy's screaming out, hey, man, MMA Media, get me on your show. I want to talk about this guy. I want to expose this guy. This is a big story. And he gets nothing back. Well, I tell you what, Kat, you can come on this show. We'll get you on this show. You can say whatever you want. I give a fook. I give a fook about these bullshit mixed martial art journalists. Let me tell you about Ariel, since Ariel's getting a little steam. All right, this worm used to come to me, used to text me, used to email me. Hey, I'm trying to get Chael on the show. Can you connect me? This, that, and other. Yeah, of course, Ariel. I'll connect you. I like you. You're one of the first guys that actually showed up in this landscape and act like a professional. All right. The rest of, and then he gets real big for his britches. He's the biggest nut hugger of all time. And now he's running game on Ariel and the bad guy. That show sucks compared to what me and him did on You're Welcome. And everybody that's ever listened to it knows it. So Ariel, fuck you too. Now, mixed martial arts fighters that have no history of this sport, have no idea where this sport came from. Well, I do. Fuck you too. All right. So just getting that out there. Let's start talking about. I'm going to go down the list, and we can bounce the ball back and forth. I wonder what these guys outside of the studio think at 9:03 in the morning when some dude's just losing it in like. These are supposed to be soundproof, but they're not. There's no way those. Some dude's walking by. It's like, should we call security? So, all right, let's roll down. I love the stuff that you were sending me this morning, and thank you, Sin.
21 pounds in 21 days. That is the Dolce Diet's 3 weeks to shred. Who among us would not want to lose 21 pounds in 21 days and keep them off, all while eating delicious, nutritious foods, up to 6 meals a day, 2,000 calories a day, and staying full? Brought to you by Mike Dolce, 4-time MMA Trainer of the Year, whose athletes have a 100% weigh-in success rate in the UFC. 100%. Never, ever has one of his athletes ever missed weight for a professional MMA fight. He is now bringing that knowledge and that science to you, the consumer, via thedolcediet.com. Whether it's the 3 weeks to shred program or the 8-week living lean program, you can save yourself 10% off the total cost with the code SURNIER10 at checkout. That's SURNIER10, SURNEAR10 at checkout. Regardless of the total cost, save yourself 10% off. You will look better, feel better, and you will increase your overall longevity, all the while staying full and eating food. No points, no cards, no watching your macros, none of that BS bullcrap fad nonsense. This is true science-based nutrition. Go to thedolcediet.com, use code SURNIER10 at checkout, and save yourself 10%. Who's better than that? Boom.
All right, so this is a running theme. So Rockhold is supposed to fight Chris Weidman. I don't know why. I thought Rockhold had moved up to 205. I don't know why they would run that fight back. Did Rockhold decide not to stay at 205?
That's what it seems. I didn't read anything definitive on his reasoning, but yeah, this all the talk is now him and Weidman. So apparently, for the time being, he has abandoned that. I don't know if DC is planning to come back, which I don't think it is. So I don't know, but yeah, it just appears he's not doing the 205 thing now.
Yeah, and Romero did that too. Romero, which doesn't make any sense. Which doesn't really make any sense to me, because if you look at you know what? I don't think anybody respects the champ. I don't think anybody respects Whitaker. They're like, hey, I can beat that guy. You can beat him until you're in there fighting him to the death. I mean, because that guy will fight to the death. Broken arm, broken leg, broken shoulder, beat up. He should be the champion of the world. So maybe that's it. Maybe these guys just don't respect the champ. Now, I love Chris Weidman, however you say his name. I haven't been able to figure it out in 15 years. Man, he's fought what, 2 times in the last 3 years? So yeah. So anyway, the story is Rockhold's come out and said, I'm not going to take that fight until I get more money.
Yeah, he says I can make more doing my other business ventures than if I go into camp, I'm losing money. So yeah.
What's that mean? If he goes into camp, he's like his camp costs more money than he's making?
Well, yeah, because what he makes in his other ventures, whether it's modeling and all that other stuff, if he makes more money than if he's got to stop all that and go into camp, he's losing money on what he's making the fight.
That's brilliant. Good for you, man. Good for you. You need more money for a fight I don't care about. But man, I tell you what, if he gets that money, it just goes back to the talking point of, man, how low the bar is. The lightweights out there at 227, Dillashaw and Garbrandt and DJ and Cejudo, they did 300,000, and that's a big number. That's a big number. There isn't 3 people. You know, I said this before. The only guy that draws over 500,000 is if you put everybody on the card together. If it's not Conor, Diaz would probably get 750 on his own. You know, the Diaz brothers would probably do 750 on their own. But I mean, there's no big stars in this thing. That's why it's so big if Chael can win this next fight. But anyway, let's stay on point on this contract thing, because now this is the second time Rockhold's tried this. It worked before. So I want more money to fight somebody, and it worked. I forgot who that was. I think it might have been his last fight. It might have been the Branch guy that he beat.
David Branch, yeah.
So it had worked before, so he's trying to go back again. Now, I could be wrong on this, but I'm probably right. Sugar Shane is just he's a 135 pounder with a bunch of hype behind him. He's got a goofy hairdo, and boy, he just he just acts like an idiot. He's trying to smoke weed. I mean, just whatever. This way, I'm a million years old to these kids. To me, I don't like the show. So Sugar Shane says that what's his name? Sugar Shane. Do you know who I'm talking about? Shane.
Yeah, Sugar Sean O'Malley.
There you go, Sugar Sean O'Malley. All right, so Sugar Sean's come out and said, I signed a new contract to do my next fight, but after my next fight, I want a new contract. What am I missing here? What am I missing about a contract? Like, I get it if you so outperform a contract, but if you sign a contract, that's what you understand. This is what you're supposed to do. Now, these new guys, and they're all doing it. They're every one of them doing it. Even the guys that I like Vic. I think what's Vic's first name? He's fighting
James Vick.
James Vick. I was going to say Michael Vick, but so James Vick says the same thing. Hey, if I got to find this, if I got to fight this guy, or if I've got to fight that guy, I want more money. Guys,
that would get a million buys. Michael Vick in the cage.
There you go.
Maybe that's where they need to go.
Yeah, well, I think they're bridging that. They're bridging that ship. They're starting. Having Brock come back and fight for the championship. That's just saying this is what we do. We're not a lot different than the WWE, which is fine by me. I want to see a couple guys fight. I like it when old guys fight. I can't believe that the UFC and Bellator. Let me stay on point here for a second. So, if you sign a contract, and hey, listen, don't let me get out of here without talking about this Amoroso. If you sign a contract, that's your contract, right, Sin? I mean, do we as fans want to hear about pay you more? I want you guys to make more money. I want you guys to make a pension. I want you guys that have fought in the UFC 20 times to have at least $3,500 coming into your account forever, so you can at least live, because you deserve that to me. You fought in the UFC 20 times. That's the benchmark for me. You shouldn't ever be homeless. But with that said, if you got a contract, it's what it is.
Absolutely. I mean, that's the absolute definition of a contract. It's binding. They get one over on you. I hate to say it, but shame on you. Get better management, get better agent, whatever. But a contract is a contract.
Well, and these fighters, they're just so young, and they've come up in they've come up in an entertainment business, not a fight business. And we're talking to Reese when we had Reese on the show last week. He was saying he remembers where he was when he found out Matt Hughes made $40,000. Yeah, but that was all the money in the world. That was every bit of all the money in the world. I mean, you're talking about a bunch of college wrestlers. We make $40,000 in a year. You're rich. So now these guys, these kids come up. Most of them have never had a job, and they feel They feel like they're entitled to all this money because 2,000 people tell them how cool they are on Twitter. So it's mind-boggling to me that they keep doing this. Moving on to your next point. Man, is there anything more telling than the heavyweight division that they're going to run back Blades and Ngannou? Or they're talking about it?
No. They've got nothing. Yeah, I mean, it's when I'm reading, it's damn near official. But yeah, I mean, what they got nothing. Like, it's sad that the heavyweight division should be, that or light heavyweight, should be the premier spectacle in the sport, like it always was in boxing, the heavyweight division.
Yeah,
that should be the moneymaker. The biggest guys, the biggest muscles that hit the hardest should always be your biggest draw. Period. And they got nothing.
So they offer Blades a contract with Stipe, and Stipe doesn't take it, and I don't blame him. I don't blame Stipe for waiting. Now, by waiting, does he get to fight the winner of Brock DC, or is he just is he just saying, man, this fight's never going to happen. There's no way Brock's going to make it through USADA drug testing. I tell you guys, you're wrong. These guys are ahead of you. You see Brock Lesnar. I mean, if he's 40 years old, man, if he's off the sauce, he's still going to look good, but it's not going to look like you're the scariest man in the world. You're just going to look like a big, thick dude, not the monster incarnate. So is Stipe just waiting it out and saying, listen, I need to take some time off anyway?
Yes. So he's definitely waiting it out, either to step in when that fight doesn't happen or for the winner. And, I don't blame him. With the most decorated heavyweight title holder, the most wins, the most defenses, I don't feel he should have to take another fight to earn a title shot, especially when it's DC only having one fight and Brock, stepping back in. There's nothing legitimate in an argument for you to say that Stipe needs to fight somebody else to earn a rematch. So, yeah, I would eat my hat if he takes another fight before getting a title rematch, whether it's with Brock or with DC in a rematch. So,
well, the problem is because that division is so thin, and I hate to say it because all of those big animals in that division kill me. They just walk in here and throw me around. But man, it is true when your biggest star in that division is probably the Beast. He's not the greatest fighter in the world. I think by sending him out there against Volkov is a big risk because there's one guy that can probably draw in that division, and it's him. I would try to put him and Stipe together because I think Stipe would take that fight. I think Stipe probably looks at Blades and says, "There's nothing here, man. I don't. That's a lot to deal with. That big man that can wrestle. I don't want to deal with that. But yeah, I'd probably go out there and fight. I'd probably go out there and fight the Beast. And maybe they did ask him, and maybe Stipe just like, no, man, I'm out. I deserve a rematch. With that said, we all know the score. We all know that if Stipe won that fight against DC, he would be waiting out this payday. You can't blame him.
Absolutely.
This is the world that we live in. Now, speaking of...
so let me ask you this before we get off that. So we have Blades and Ngannou again. What happened? Ngannou, he loses again. Is he just out? Does he stay around and try and get better? Or is that hype train just a total train wreck and he's off the radar for good?
Boy, I tell you what, Sin. Boy, it is just tough to get on Dana White's bad side. Look at my guy Randy Couture. Randy should be in the UFC. He should be calling fights on Fox. He should be all over that thing. And if he can hold a grudge against a guy that helped build the sport, literally, yeah, you don't want to get on his bad side. So the fact that they're running Ngannou out there against Blades, yeah, that's telling me they want to get rid of this Ngannou guy. That he crossed the. Yeah. I talked about. I said don't forget. Let's just bring Amoroso in this thing right now. Let's make Amoroso Ngannou, and Ngannou comes out there and wins some fights, and Dana decides, hey, this is my guy. He's gonna be a big star. He goes out there and starts promoting this guy, and he expects. See, the problem when you don't communicate with people, and I've done this in the past where I was so good to people, but I didn't sit down with them and say, hey, listen, I'm going to do this for you, but I expect X out of you before I start writing the checks. Instead, I would just assume that you would know these things. I would just assume that because I'm loyal, because I'm cool, because I'm down, so are you. So you're going to appreciate all these things that I'm going to do for you. So Dana goes out and does that for Ngannou, and it's coming. It appears it's coming up to the Stipe fight, and he just blows. He just like, oh man, I got this. He basically quits training, and this has burned Dana so bad that he's done with the guy. Then he sends him out there to fight the Beast, his one draw in the world, and he lays an egg. So, yeah, having him fight a guy that can take him down and lay on top of him and punch a hole in his head, yeah, that's telling me, yeah, Ngannou, if you can make some money in Bellator or the Professional Fight League or whatever, yeah, you're gone. Because didn't Ngannou run smash blades and almost murder him, when he was the toughest guy in the world?
Yeah, first time around. Yep. It just amazes me that, I don't know, they put so much hype behind some of these guys. And yeah, I completely agree. I think Dana's trying to run him out and just, get him off the payroll and, forget it ever happened. But so much hype. At least Page and Sage, at least they come back, won a few fights. They've somewhat redeemed themselves from the undeserved push that they were given and the Reebok contract and all that other stuff. But Ngannou.
And they're young too. They're young.
Yeah.
You've got to look at the landscape of this thing and say, man, we've like it or not, we got to get around guys like Sugar Shane because he has somewhat, he has something. He has something that's going on. The U.S. It's a different world that they live in, and Chael actually explained this to me. I was like, man, the numbers are down and the interest is down, this, that, and other. And he just told me all of the reasons that, all of the ways that they can financially make money, and they're doing it. And so they're not hurting in any way, shape, or form. But us as fans, because we've really been given so much, so many fights, especially when they went to having fights every weekend. Man, for a while it was killer after killer after killer going out there. I tell you, the Poirier fight against Alvarez was free on TV just a minute ago. That card was stacked top to bottom. As a fan, it's we are spoiled. But as far as Ngannou is concerned, yeah, man, I think they're trying to run him out of there. I'm gonna stay on Amoroso for a second. I'm gonna veer off this lane, and then I'm gonna get back to talking about sports here in a second. I'm more a liberal than I am a Republican. That's just who I am. So this president, there's a lot of stuff that he does that bothers me. He's a bully. He does a lot of things that bothers me. I'm not talking, oh, the economy's so great and this. He bothers me as a human. I watch the Democrats, and man, they can't gain any ground. They can't. I hear that. Oh man, we're gonna landslide him, and I don't see it happening. I'm trying to watch this thing. I don't see it happening. It seems like he's got one scandal after the next. Nothing hurts him. He's bulletproof. So I'm just like, yeah, all right, it's whatever. You guys had a chance to beat him. You didn't beat him. Let him go. Let him do his thing. And then in 2 years, you have an opportunity to beat him. It was the very first thing I said to Ladd. I said, give this guy a chance. All right, so this Amoroso woman comes out, and she should never had a job to begin with in the White House. As all accounts, she's just a horrible person. She's just a bully. She's mean. She uses race for her advantage. She's every bad thing in the world as a human being. The only thing she has going for her is Donald Trump said, you know what? Come along with me. Come along for the ride. I got you, Amorosa. For whatever reason, you say nice things about me, I'll bring you along. So this demon of a woman gets this job, and she goes and records every private conversation she had in the world. Well, let me be the first one to tell you, she's a scumbag. Every single person on the planet that has helped somebody out and had that person turn against him is gonna feel sympathy for Donald Trump. Even though I'm talking to a Trumpy, am I wrong, Sin? Did she just cook? Is this just a bad feeling for the world?
Oh, yeah. And you're right. He's going to gain sympathy from everybody because that's just, I mean, when you have an employee or whatever it is, there is an expectation of whether privacy or professionalism, whatever it is. For somebody to blatantly go and do that, she's roasted herself. She is done. And she made him, she despised him so much. Her actions had the exact opposite effect. She made him the victim.
Yeah,
for the first time, maybe the victim.
Exactly. Maybe for the first time, Donald's a victim. I tell you, there's a different feel to this thing as the inside Hollywood thing that he didn't know. He didn't know he was being recorded, but he was out of bounds. In my opinion, he was out of bounds. He didn't know what environment he was in. He was running his mouth. In my opinion, in that particular case, he was wrong. He was out of bounds. In this case, man, I thought it was illegal to tape conversations. I thought me and you, if I was going to record you, I know that if I put you on my show, if I put you on something that I'm sending out to the masses and using your content, I need to say, hey, is it all right if you come on the show? Now me and you, we're partners, and obviously it is, but our guests that come on the show, they know they're coming on a show. To just record somebody and everybody, she's recorded everybody, and she doesn't come across as sympathetic in any way, shape, or form. So yeah, for the first time, our president is a victim. And I've been watching this, and even Miss H, who cannot stand Donald Trump. He you know, if he came over, brought flowers, and she would probably now get out of here, Donald. Even she has a hard time being sympathetic to this Omarosa witch. What do you take out of? Did they know she had recordings when they fired her? Is that why they came back and said, hey, man, we'll give you 15 grand a year to shut up, 15 grand a month? And did she take that money while she was out hustling this book?
Probably. I mean, that makes sense that something like that would happen based on the details are coming out. So I would assume, yeah. So in essence, he's kind of extorting them in a way, whether they made the first offer. It's yeah. I think
maybe not though. I mean, maybe, or is she the one that slipped through the cracks? Because you listen. If the president of I want to ask you this. This is a true question. This is a true question to you on air. Here's what I believe. This is what I believe. Okay, take away personality. Take away I don't like him. Okay, take that away. Take away I don't agree with him. I don't agree with it. I want to take all that away from myself. And then the only thing that I care about is, did he commit a crime? Did he commit treason in regards to things? So all this Omarosa stuff, man, it isn't gonna do anything to him, and I don't care. But my question to you, Brother Sin, is even if it is true that the president of the United States committed crimes, do you still support him?
To me, it depends on what the crimes are and what the end result was. If it's crimes against the country, no. If it's crimes that were in quest of bettering something for the people of this country.
So basically all you're saying is, I can't get that out of my mouth. I need a good sales pitch, but it would appear.
Well, here's my feeling that every president who's held office has committed crime. It's just part of the job. There's so much responsibility. There's so much that they do that is unseen. So much shady, backhanded stuff that goes on in the world of politics. that there is not a squeaky clean one amongst them ever.
Okay, that's just rationale. That's just rationale, and I'm cool with that.
If he committed treason, no.
Okay.
If he committed treason, I do not support him.
Yeah. So if it's not a law, if he didn't break the law, it's just ugly, then it's whatever. It's whatever. My concern is that he's lined his pockets by money from other countries.
That's the problem.
Not money from this country. Like, because the history of politics is, I'm going to give you a bunch of money. I expect to be able to build a house across the street and get it divided. I don't care about that. Personally, I don't care about that. But what I do care about, if in fact, and I don't know if it's a crime, if Saudi Arabia gave him a bunch of money to not do business with the United Emirates, is that a crime? If it's not a crime and it's just ugly, well, then that's what it is to me. This Omarosa thing, this isn't going to do anything but, I mean, as much dirt as it appears has come out on this guy, for him to be at 42%, man, he's going to run away with the next election. Am I wrong?
Absolutely. Not at all.
And who's he going to run against? Are they going to run Bernie Sanders against him? I mean,
they are going to try. Yes,
that's a buy. That's a buy. He gets a buy back into the presidency. I don't see, this Michael Avenatti guy, the lawyer for Stormy Daniels. See, I liked this guy for a while. He was cool for a while. But the second he said, hey, this guy's not going to serve out his term, I guarantee it, this, that, and the other. And then now he's like, I'm going to run against him. Yeah, man, you lost. Yeah, I'm done with you.
No, if the Democratic Party had anybody with a remote chance of beating Trump, it'd be clear by now. They'd have him out. They'd be marching him around. They would, they'd be campaigning already because it's not that far off. So the fact that no clear-cut candidates come out yet, no, there's nobody.
Yeah,
they
man.
may not even send anybody to the election.
Yeah.
They may just say, you know what? It's not worth the money and the hassle. We're focusing on 2024, and we're just accepting it.
Yeah, I tell you, because most of us are just we're just concerned about paying rent and having money to enjoy ourselves a little bit. We're not, the theological debates on things are outside most of our comfort zone or pay grade. So unless he committed treason, you got Trump, and I understand that. I get that. But this Omarosa chick, she's not. And then as a matter of fact, we're talking politics. Let's just stay on this. You sent me a snippet about Colin Kaepernick is suing the NFL for what is it, collusion, or maybe everybody's collusion, blackmailing him, or not blackballing him.
Blackballing him, yeah.
And John Elway said, "No, man, that's not true. We offered you a contract, and that didn't take it. And that time has passed. I don't have to hire you because I don't have to hire you because now you're mad. You've spent half of your savings. You realize you don't have that FU money. At the end of the day, doesn't this come back to I had FU money and now I don't?"
Yep, absolutely. And it just baffles me. I mean, his actions that would cause this, that he has completely pissed away any chance of ever playing professional ball again. And like you mentioned a couple weeks ago, now these young players haven't even made a roster yet, are doing the kneeling, they're doing all that. How are they so obtuse? Do you legitimately feel that they feel that strongly about some of this, that they're willing to do that, or are they just trying to get attention for it? Because it baffles me that they could sit and watch somebody throw away millions upon millions upon millions of career earnings and never play again, and still be willing to do this and go out in preseason national TV and take a knee and disrespect all that stuff. It just blows my mind.
Man, you blew my mind when you said obtuse. Great job. I wish that was in my wheelhouse. I wish somewhere across this state I could figure out how to use obtuse. Anyway, man, I'm with you. I'm with you 100%. So Chael, Chael, and Clayton, Clayton Hires is out here for a couple days to train up old Chael. And remind me to get back to old Chael here in a minute. And we're talking about this. We're talking about that. Now we're talking. We've got a black man, all right, sitting right across from us, and that black man is probably more Republican than either you or Chael combined. All right. I mean, this is a guy that has come up from poverty, okay, from extreme poverty, gotten some trouble when he was a little kid, and learned from it. And listen to Clayton talk about things. Because now he has certain rights to speak on things that you or I will never have. It's just not. He's an older guy that grew up black. That he's got scars that we don't have. So we're talking about this thing. His opinion on the protest was, not only are you wrong that you're protesting during the national anthem, you shouldn't be protesting the police officers. Man, they do so much to help everybody. I mean, there's a couple bad seeds out there and everything, but you shouldn't even be protesting that. I thought that was a strong commentary on his part. My belief is, don't do it then. Just don't do it. Don't disrespect my dad, my brother, my mom. Okay? Even if that's not your intent. I think most of us think that. Now, some people just will not change their mind. It's freedom of it's freedom of whatever. Whatever freedom you have to kneel during the national anthem. Whatever freedom that gives you. A, it feels wrong. Okay? B, you're costing yourself a voice. You as a professional athlete, you have a voice. People think you're cool because you're a professional athlete. You can be the biggest dummy in the world. Most of these fighters are dum-dums. Absolute dum-dums. Sin, if you got to meet all these people that you think were cool, I think you would get in a different sport. I think you would be so turned away by all these idiots. So anyway, they have a right. They have a right that is given them because they're a professional athlete. They can talk to the media. They can hold a conference pretty much anytime they want. And they make a pretty good income doing it. So these are all these different things that these guys can use to get their point across about the cops oppressing black people. Maybe that is true. Maybe we haven't evolved long enough. Maybe we stereotype or target blacks in different spots in the country. It seems to me the news makes it look like that anyway. But don't fight a losing battle. Don't take away the two things. Don't take away the two things you got going for you. Because as soon as you're not a professional athlete, nobody cares. And as soon as you don't have any money, guess what? Nobody cares.
You couldn't be more right. Absolutely. I mean, if you're really passionate about something, about that cause, and you want to make a change, if you want to get your voice heard, make sure you put yourself in a position where the voice will be heard, to where you have that platform. When you eliminate the platform, you got nothing. You got no chance. Like you said, you're nobody. No one cares.
All right, yeah. Hey, can I'm gonna talk a little bit about Khabib real quick. Can you see if you can get Kyle on the phone? I told him I'd have him on the show. Can you do that without hanging up on me?
Should be able to, yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. So while he's doing that, I want to have Kyle on the show. Kyle's our new something. He's the guy that makes this sound pretty cool and transitions to music and he's doing it because he likes the show, which I think is really cool. And so we're going to have him on the show. We're going to learn a little bit about him because I don't know anything about him. He was like, "Hey, I want to edit. Oh, I want to edit your show." And I was like, "Okay, cool. If Brother Sin wants you to edit the show, cool." And Brother Sin liked it, so he's doing a great job. And we'll talk to him in a second. So, Khabib Khabib, well, let me grab my phone. Well, I don't know if he did this. I'll actually ask Kevin if he did this. But Khabib is, I guess he was protesting some concert or something. This is what Kevin sent me. You know, I mean, Khabib's pretty religious. He's a pretty religious Muslim guy. And the Muslims are pretty straight-laced, man. They don't drink, they don't do tobacco, they only marry other Muslims. I mean, they've got a strict code that the Muslims go through. So Khabib apparently was making homeless people do push-ups for money. Maybe Russia doesn't have homeless people. I don't know. But when Brother Sin comes back on the line, I will ask him about this Khabib situation. And right now, I'm stalling. Who do we got? We got Sin. Are you back?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm waiting. I just reached out to Kyle. I'm waiting.
Tell me about this Khabib thing.
So Khabib, they had a big public concert over there in Dagestan in the big capital, I guess, city square, one of those kind of things, big outdoor concert. But it was a rap and hip hop concert with all these young Dagestani youth out there, dancing around in the hip hop style, doing all that kind of stuff. And Khabib was outraged and then made public statements that, that's disgraceful. He thinks it's disgusting that to see this kind of music and his young countrymen acting that way was not what was bequeathed to them by their righteous predecessors. He is not a fan of the rap and hip hop culture and feels that it has no place in the Dagestani culture. And he was very vocal about that. And he's gotten some pretty heavy heat online from his following, from the young people.
Yeah, he's making a living as a cage fighter. It's like, come on, man, you're not the guy. I want to know what was this thing about him paying homeless people to do push-ups? Did you see that?
Yeah. He made comments about making homeless people do push-ups for money. Is that what something bequeathed by their predecessors? So, he made the statement about the hip hop music and whatnot, about how that's not what their people are supposed to do and act like. And then, he's getting the heat coming back, and people are saying, well, is that what our predecessors wanted for us?
So, yeah, Khabib sounds like a jerk. I mean, he just sounds like somebody that's kind of. It's so hard when a guy gets a run, and I've seen it happen so many times. It's like if anybody wants a playbook on how this ends up, man, look at all the people that fought 15 years ago. I mean, see how their life's working for them. I tell you,
we got Kyle calling.
All right, cool. Let's get Kyle on. Hey, Kyle, listen. I want you to tell us, because I don't know. I mean, Kyle, you've got a hold of me. You said, "Hey, I'm a fan of the show. I'd like to get my edit on." I think you sent me over something. It was good. I sent it to Kevin, and boom, you're our guy. I don't know anything about you. I thank you. I think you're doing a great job. I loved how you did the intro for Randy with Michael Buffer out there. Now listen, you may not know this. The Godfather's on UFC Fight Pass, so you can grab that same intro from Jimmy Lennon Jr. for me sometime. So Kyle, listen, you got the floor. Tell the world who you are, baby.
Yeah, I appreciate the chance to talk with you guys. So yeah, big fan. My name's Kyle Autry. I'm from Indiana. I actually went to college right where I believe you grew up. I went to college in Bourbonnais, Illinois.
Well, Olivet Nazarene?
Right? Yeah.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, I remember you telling a story. I think it was on Chill's podcast. You guys went there for some type of live show. And I was like, oh, that's really cool. I didn't know he was from there. And and I started doing my own podcast, and I've kind of really enjoyed the editing process. And I was like, hey, I think I could help these guys out a little bit.
All right, cool. So let's get back to Kankakee. Did you spend 4 years at Olivet Nazarene?
Yeah, I played college football. That's how I ended up there. So they recruited me out of Portage High School.
Portage, dude, that's a tough spot. Portage is Where do you live now?
Fort Wayne, Indiana.
Man, you live in the ghetto. You came up in the ghetto, the white ghetto. Portage is a ghetto. Am I wrong? I mean, Portage.
We're very close. We're very close to the ghetto. Portage is very working class. It's steel mill country.
Okay, and Fort Wayne, that's a tough beat too, right?
It definitely in parts, absolutely.
Okay, but there's suburbs everywhere, right?
Yeah, I'm in the nice part of Fort Wayne.
All right, cool. So did you play all 4 years? I tell you, Olivet Nazarene, do they still have a wrestling team?
They do not. No more wrestling program there.
Yeah, man, that's a shame. Now that's I don't want to say Nazarene. That's a religion, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, I know it's a religious, but but they don't exclude. You don't have to be that religion
it's
to play.
It's not Brigham Young. You don't have to abide by the Mormon code. That's what you're getting at.
Exactly. So 4 years now. Do you live by the Nazarene code? Are you a non-drinker, non-smoker, non-carouser, just good, straight, good human?
No, I'm not. Actually, I had been to church one time when I got recruited to go play there.
That's what I was getting to.
I was a little concerned.
Okay, yeah, all right. Then you're like us. You're bad people. We Chael and I had talked this week, that if it was up to us, we would be a lot better people. If it was up to us, we would be a lot better people. And see, my opinion on this, he struggles with it. He thinks that maybe we're not good people. I believe that the fact that I would rather be good people than bad people makes me good people. Am I wrong there?
I would agree with that. My wife was religious. I met her in college. She's a saint.
Okay.
So, yeah, I'm around good people, which is good.
Okay. Well, see, being around good people or having a good one, that makes you good people. I love it that there was a little bar right across the street from Olivet Nazarene. And when I was coming up, it was called Bert's Tavern. And it was a tough place for me because my dad and my mom were always in that bar, and I wish they would come home and feed me. And I hadn't been back to Kankakee that many times. This last time I went back, that's a cool bar. The area around Kankakee, or Bourbonnais anyway, has grown up. Kankakee is still a pit. It's really kind of suburbanized it out, and it's a different place than I grew up. I can tell you that. So did you graduate college or did you graduate football?
Yeah, I graduated college. It took me an extra 6 months, though. I had to go an extra semester.
I'm trying to.
Yeah, I got my marketing degree.
I'm going to try to graduate this time around with Lad. When Lad goes through, I'm going to try to get my degree this time. I would be that that old guy. Oh, isn't it cute that old man got a degree? I'll be like, yeah, I did. It only took me 50 years. All right, so big MMA fan, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I am. I should give a shout out to my old high school classmate, Darren the Damage Elkins.
Oh, all right. Let's get Darren the Damage on. We love Darren the Damage. Boy, he was up against it that last fight, but damn, is that guy tough? Is he from Portage?
He's from Portage.
Yeah, I guarantee he's from the other side. He's from the side where I've got family members that lived in Portage for a minute, and I guarantee Elkins is probably from that neighborhood.
I think so. Yeah, I think he was like 196-4 in college or in high school with wrestling.
All right, listen, your job is to get Darren Elkins on the show next week.
I'm on it.
All right.
I'd love to make that happen.
I don't know how entertaining he'll be, but I tell you what, he's tougher than hell, and he's 8192 to the core, I imagine. All right, Kyle, what else do you got for the humans? Give me something. Give me something. We're kind of in a dead spot, but Hay's in the barn at this time. God, we're an hour and 12 minutes into this thing. So
I got a question for you, Kyle. Pronounce the town that Olivet's in.
Bourbonnais.
Joel, pronounce the town that Olivet's in.
Bourbonnais?
I've never heard you say Bourbonnais in all these years.
Yeah, it might. I think it's French. I think
it is Bourbonnais. Yeah.
Yeah, it probably is Bourbonnais. you know. But I tell you what, man, I could. You know what's funny is that man, that Olivet Nazarene is a nice little college. It really, really is. But when I was coming up, man, it was slim pickings for a good looking broad in that place. I think the actual because basically when you're younger, a good looking broad dresses like a whore. Okay. And and maybe it's just that. Maybe they're not allowed to whore it up at Olivet Nazarene. But that would have been my takeaway from it. There wasn't, they played football, but I never heard of a keg party at Olivet Nazarene. I mean, we were right down the street from those guys. We never got in a fight with anybody from Olivet Nazarene. That was interesting because I guarantee we were looking for it. So yeah.
Well, I can tell you there are parties that happen off campus. That's where the fun's at. I actually skipped my freshman orientation to go to a kegger in Glen Park, Illinois, with my new roommate. He was like, "Do you want to get out of here?" I'm like, "Yeah. What do you got in mind?" He's like, "Well, my buddy's throwing a kegger." I'm like, "Let's get out of here. What are we waiting on?" So that was my first day at Olivet Nazarene.
Olivet Nazarene, yeah. When I was coming up, they had a really, really good wrestling team, and their coach was a former Division I national champ from Oklahoma State. It's been so long and my memory's so bad, but I remember that wrestling room. I remember going up there and my junior year going up there and struggling with some of the guys that wrestle for them, and I'm like, God, I'm going to be an Olympic champ. Why is this hard? It's called, it's called reality, kid. All right, Kyle, you just stay with us. I'm about ready to wrap this show up. Man, I'm gonna wrap it up with throwing some love out to the universe for our boy Chael Sonnen, who is man, he knows it too. This is the biggest fight of his life. This is the biggest fight of his life. He's fighting a guy that is a legend in the sport, one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. And he's fighting a guy that he's ran game on for 15 years. I mean, if you think for a second that Russian doesn't want to kill our buddy, you're out of your mind. But, so he knows this. So I want to smarten crowd up a little bit. So last week, speaking of keggers, Ricky Simone and his beautiful fiance, they run into. I stopped by Gracie Baja because I was over in that area and Chael was sparring. I wanted to see if he was moving his feet. So I stopped by. They're like, "Hey, we're having a party. Come to the party." And I'm like, "Well, all right, I'll come because Ricky's so good to Lad. He's come over to 3 different events for Lad." So I'm like, "All right, I'm down." So we go out to this party and that Ricky Simone has, that his friends have, and it's at it's basically in one of his sponsors' barn. And what it is it's all his friends, and it's all his family, and it's all his supporters. And there's 300 people there. And I was really blown away by, I was like, man, Ricky's got his head on straight. He's got a good gal that supports him. He's got everything that he needs to do as well in this sport as he can. He has family, he has friends, he has a support system. And what was really telling by this was they're having a kegger, and it's free booze. On one side was tips for the gals that were pouring the beer, and on the other side was money for Ricky. So I put my boarding pass to his fight in the Ricky jar. But my point was that these guys are still supporting him. These guys are still supporting him. They got everything in the world. And then I think about my buddy Chael. He can't get through a practice. He literally can't get, from the time he gets to practice to the time he leaves, he has people trying to get something out of him, including the people that shouldn't, the most. So here he is in his most important fight of the year. And it's just sad, man. He's going to have to, Chael Sonnen, to beat Fedor in October, is going to have to be 8-1-9-2. He's going to have to do it on his own. because because everybody that is around that young man is doing it for themselves, is trying to get something out of him, is trying to pick something off the tree. And it disgusts me, but I tell you what, he's going to have to go 8192 to beat this kid. So good for him. Good for 8192. Good for the truth. Good for Kyle. I don't have anything else, guys. You want to close it? You want to close the show, Kyle? You've got the honors.
Okay. Yeah, well, thanks for joining us on 8192 The Truth. You can follow on Facebook, /8192 The Truth. For myself, Brother Sin, and the Godfather, we're out of here.
Peace.
Deuces.